Hello and welcome to another episode with Zanu Project Rethink. Listen, I'm in the studio with this amazing young man I met about a couple of weeks back, and he said he watched my episodes and said, I'm going to come on the show. I have something to discuss with you. I thought he was joking. But here I have in the studio with me this morning, Cedrick Brizard, a wonderful young banker by profession who is interested, you may believe or not, in deep philosophical thinking and discussions. He really impressed me, so I asked him to come, and he's here in the studio. Cedrick, welcome to Zanu Project Rethink.
Thank you, Zanu.
Yes.
I'm very happy to be here.
All right.
Appreciate
So you did get my note, right?
Absolutely.
All right, so
Yes.
let me hear what your question about what we discussed last week about purpose.
Yes. So during our introduction last week, I was very, very impressed by some of the ways you had me rethink certain even decisions. On the big topic, what is our purpose? As humans, do we have a purpose? Are our purpose individualistic or all put in one together? So, Zanu, do you believe we have a purpose?
Yes, I remember that conversation. And I've been asked this question before. You see, I think the way we ask the question is where the problem lies. So your question is, are we created for a purpose?
Yes.
If we continue to ask the question that way, you're gonna get three answers all the time. One group will say, yes, we have a purpose. Another group will say, no, we don't have a purpose. And the third one would say, I don't know, I don't care. You see, so if the question is close-ended about a subject so important, you're gonna get close-ended answers.
Yes.
So I say to people that I think the question itself is, when you ask it that way, are you asking because you believe the person has some credibility to tell you and show you if we are here for a purpose?
All right.
So that's my first problem with that question. So recently I changed it, and I will throw back and say, it will sound better and create more room for conversation if the question is, if we are here for a purpose, how come we don't know it? That would leave room. So it's open-ended. And my answer to that question would be, if you don't know it, it means you don't have it.
Even if you don't have it, do you believe that's something that one can discover on their own individual path?
Well, for me, again, I would have to look at people who came before me. I would have to look at the entire world and say, who has ever declared their purpose and how they found it? Who told them? That's the first thing I would be thinking about, right? In your family, my family, your great-grandfather, your grandfather, your father, your mother, up until you, no one has ever told you, hey guys, listen, this morning I just found in the mailbox a 2-page job description of why I'm on earth. Has that ever happened to anybody you know?
Not at all, not at all.
Do you know any historical figure whose biography clearly stated that somewhere along the line in his life, he said he was told this is his purpose, and who told him?
I've yet to see that.
Okay, why is it so, something so important? Why don't we know? Now let me tell you a story. A couple of years back, a friend of mine who was married, their first child, they almost had a divorce over simply agreeing on what the child's name should be. Can you see what is more important to them about a human being that is about to be born? The child's name. Then, of course, the child is born. What is the first concern of the parents? Which fancy daycare should the child go to? And then primary school, oh yeah, you're done. Now high school, is it private or public? Oh yeah, you're gonna go to the university. And then you finish, you gotta get married. Come on, what are you waiting for? And then when you do, you gotta have children and a job. Meanwhile, you're finding a job, right? And then you get married, and then you have your own children, and then you're working, and then you start talking about 401k and on and on and on and on. And then you start looking at Medicare A and B because you are now 62 years of age, you're going to retire. And then just like anybody else, you have an obituary. This important thing of being here for a purpose, wouldn't you think if we have a purpose for which we are created, by the time you are 6 or 12 or 14, 18, 16, in fact, we spend money celebrating sweet 16 without knowing why the person is on earth.
Well, one says we're celebrating their life.
Yes. Wouldn't you think that somewhere somebody would come into your parents' life and say, hey, listen, this is your child who's about to be born, his job description. And this is his or her supervisor. In even human corporate world, as soon as the HR employs you, the first thing is to give you a job description. You read it carefully to understand, so you don't walk into the company asking, why am I here? But we ask this question about ourselves all the time. Why am I here? Human companies will give you a job description, and they'll tell you someone who would evaluate you every 6 months to know that, to make sure you're on the right path.
Absolutely.
And these providential tasks, we never have anything like that. You see, we made it up to make us feel better so that we don't look like the roaches or the bees. And in fact, sometimes I want to apologize to the roaches and the bees because they have even more purpose than we have.
I agree. It is unfair for us to label us as them.
Another point and problem with this purpose. Purpose seems to me more fixed than reason. Reason is fluid. Purpose is fixed. So, God created the earth, so said the Christians, right?
Yes.
God created the earth, so he had a purpose. And then he created you, so he had a purpose for you. All right. Then why do we talk about free will? The Marine and the SEAL and these institutions were created for a purpose, to fight wars and defend countries, right? If you enlist into the Marine, you're going to fall into a box of regulations, codes, do's and don'ts, time to wake up, what to eat, when to eat it, how to salute. You cannot say, no, I'll do it my way here.
No, of course not.
You're not Prince Harry.
No.
You're either a prince or you're not. No. So you don't, there is a purpose, which is the Marine or the SEAL or whichever institution it is. If you are in it, you are in it fixed already. So if God created you for a purpose, then he has wired you so that you can follow that purpose. Otherwise, he's just planned himself for a failure. And I don't think a God, a superhuman being like that, would do something like that.
So once you say that, does that mean we truly have free will?
I don't know, because that is a different conversation altogether. When people ask me and talk about free will, I say, there's one thing you're not considering. Free from what? Free will. The free came before the will. Yeah. Free from what? Have you thought about it?
Free to make your own decisions.
No. Free from what? Not free to what? Free from what? When you say you're free, you're free from jail. You're free from captivity. You're free from being a POW. So when you say free will, free from what?
So if you bring that back, then what would you say freedom is? When someone has freedom, what is truly freedom?
But they tell you what you're free from. They tell you what you're free from. Not free to do, it's always free from something. The word free itself means that once upon a time, you have to be constrained by something. And then somebody makes a law to make you free. The emancipation of African Americans is a freedom from slavery.
Yeah.
Okay, when they say free speech means that free from persecution.
From the government,
From the government.
Yes.
So when you say I have a free will, free from what? Now that nobody wants to talk about.
Free from
they
God?
They only tell you.
Would you say free from God?
No, I don't know. But that is a question. You see, sometimes if you punch the conclusion with the right question, you don't need to wait for an answer. All you have to do is question the existing conclusions you've been giving. And that's it. You don't have to have an answer. Somebody else have now something to rethink.
Now with the church,
when people talk about free will, they never tell you free from what? They always tell you, oh, free to do something. No, that's not true at all. No. If you were free to do something, you would do it anyway. But when they say it's free will, it's because they're telling you free from something to be able to be something. And you have to find out free from what. Okay? So we go back to our purpose here on earth. And I'm saying that if God created the world for a purpose, then just like the Marine or the SEAL and other institutions, what he created you for is that purpose. So he has wired you for that purpose, which means you don't have room to do anything. But Christians say, no, we don't want to accept that.
And that's the point I wanted to talk to you about with the church. I mean, a lot of us would say our purpose is to serve God, to serve our family, to serve the man and the woman besides us. Wouldn't you say that's our purpose? Our purpose is to coexist, to reproduce.
Well, reproduction is a biological instinct. It's built into us. The same way you don't want to taste anything that feels bad, you spit it out, and everything that doesn't feel good on your skin, you avoid it, and so on and so forth. So reproduction is built into your system. You're going to reproduce. Idiots are reproducing. Smart people are reproducing. The ugly, the beautiful, everybody reproduces. As long as you can have an erection, you can reproduce. For some people, it's a hobby. That's why they have over 20 children. For some people, it's just a necessity. I just want one to say that, yes, I'm wearing that badge of honor too.
Right.
So that is not necessarily a purpose. And if it was, then how come some people are barren? How come some people have reproductive problems? How come some people just don't want to do it, and they won't get pregnant like Holy Mary? They won't. God will say, why? How dare you say you won't? I'll put a baby in your stomach. No, if I don't want to do it, I don't want to do it. So how is it a purpose if I can say, no, it's a part of what I do? And some people do it for hobby and fun, and it never happens. And, condoms were created to prevent that. So
of course,
what is it, really? That is it. We are created, our purpose is to worship God. In what way? Where is the manual that tells you the proper way to worship it? And which church? Now, the Christian denomination alone has about 1,000 different denominations, all saying different things. So which one is it? And what is it worshiping God to do what? That's the question. Worshiping God to do what? To prevent earthquakes, drought, hunger, wars, genocide, killing, rape? What is it that you're worshiping God to do? Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning anybody's denomination or beliefs here. I'm just punching questions to the answers I've been giving. The day I choose to reject the fact that I'm here for a purpose, if I'm here for a purpose, I want to get paid. If we're here for a purpose, I promise you, the IRS would have allowed you to take 3 months of the year to say, no, those were the days, you did what you were put here for, right?
Of course.
But there's nothing like that on the IRS form. Why is it also that people who always say they discovered their purpose while they are here, it's always when they found a problem somewhere, some African kid with flies on it, say, oh yeah, that's the day I knew that I had a purpose to come and serve and help them heal. So God created you and just forgot, oh shoot, I have no purpose for Cedrick, so let me create some problem kids in Tanzania so he can have a purpose? So if that is the case, let me ask you, what is the purpose of the rapist? What is the purpose of the person who enslaves people? You're a Christian, you told me.
Yes.
Let me ask you and answer me fairly if you think it's...
Of course.
Do you think prostitutes are here for that purpose? In your own answer, it's not right or wrong.
I believe someone that holds the title of a prostitute, man or woman, their purpose is to serve themselves, whether to serve their pockets.
No, were they put here to be prostitutes?
No, of course not.
Okay.
I don't believe that.
Genocide, people who kill people. Do you think God put them here to do that?
Absolutely not.
How about people who hold people as slaves?
I don't believe so as well.
Yeah?
I believe that's where free will comes in. That's where humans chose that decision.
So which one to you is a purpose then? You're now here condemning other people's actions. If they tell you, go on the Google and Google God told me so, it's hundreds of pages of people who believe. If Abraham had told you, if he had come and he's here now and tied up his son with a knife in his hands, and he told you, God told me, would you believe him? If I asked you the question, you would have said the same thing. No, you don't believe. He was going to kill somebody.
That was his purpose. You heard a message from the God.
Okay, so if that is his purpose, how about the guy who enslaved people? You said no. He believed it was his purpose.
Yeah.
The manifest destiny of the Englishmen said they were put on earth to conquer places, colonize places, and civilize them in the ways of Christ. You don't believe so? Yes, because you are a victim of slavery.
100%.
Yes. See, this is the danger of saying that we are here for a purpose. Because somebody is going to make sure his purpose is more noble than yours. And then you don't like it when you are the victim.
In that case, isn't it just as simple as saying your purpose is subjective? Not everyone's purpose is the same.
Well,
we all serve our own individual purpose.
Yeah, but who gave it to you? Well, the rapist will tell you, look, and most rapists and people who kill, serial killers will tell you. Do you know a guy called David Berkowitz?
No, who's that?
David Berkowitz in 1977 was a young Jewish, 26 years I might think at that time, in New York, who went around killing girls. He was a serial killer. I think he's still alive. So a serial killer who killed girls with red hair in New York. 1977, not too far away.
Yeah.
And so they named him the son of Sam. He claimed that when his neighbor's dog barked, it was God speaking through the dog, telling him that red-haired girls are evil. So he went out doing God's work by killing them. Well, the NYPD hunt him down and they nicknamed him the son of Sam until they caught him. He's in jail. He became a rabbi in jail. So Spike Lee did a movie about him later on called The Summer of Sam, I believe was the name. Was Berkowitz right? Did God told him to kill red hair? You say no because you're a Christian. How do you know? Once you believe people are here for a purpose, you have to accept everyone's claim that they enslaved you because God told them to do so. You can find it in their book, but you don't like their book because it's not a Christian book. So you say no, because you're the victim of slavery. The genocide can tell you we found evil among these people. That's why we are killing them. God told us. Miss Yates was a housewife in Texas, I think in 1994. The husband went to work. She had 4 children. She fed them lunch and called them one by one into the bathroom and snugged them all. And they all died. When the sheriff came, she said, you're making a mistake. God spoke to me. 12 Christian jurors sent her away. Well, I'm sure Abraham would have faced the same fate if he did the same thing today. No matter how, the more you scream God told you, the more they say you belong to the psychiatry. So when do you accept when God told people something? You said they have purpose. You can't verify it. Were you there when God was speaking to them? No. I choose to say I'm not here for any purpose. I'm just here waiting to die.
So Zanu, you don't believe you have any purpose on earth for us?
I just told you, if I had, I'm sure whoever gave me that purpose would make sure that it's a place I can find it. Is it in the Quran? Should I become a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Hindu, a nihilist, a Christian? And even if it's Christian, which one?
So do you think your purpose has to be told to you, given to you, handwritten?
Well, how will you know you have it? How did you know you have a job with the United Nations, whatever, credit union bank? How do you know that? You were told, you got a call that said, yes, you're the one we picked for this job. So what do you mean by it should be told to me? Is there anything you know that was not told to you? How did you get into this studio?
Well, I'm not saying it should be told to you or written to you, but
then how would I know I have it?
That's something you find on your own. You discover your own. You discover
Then
your own
how come
purpose.
nobody has found on their own to share with us?
I wouldn't say no one
The
has
only
found their own.
person that we said had a purpose died on a cross. That's it. And they wrote it down. If you believe it, fine. Something I don't know, my parents never told me. From the day you were born, you worry about 3 things. The first, those 3 things would guarantee that I live, I don't die, because it's built into your system. It's an instinct to survive, the primary instinct to survive. That's it, not for any reason. It's just life doesn't like to end. So you have to rely on food, oxygen, and water. Any human being, unless you're a superhuman being, if you miss any one of this, you're gone.
Of course.
The oxygen, some people 3 minutes, 2 minutes, you're gone. Food, maybe 40 days. For me, maybe only 7 days. I don't like hunger.
Who does?
Water, maybe 3 or 4 days. What are those 3 things meant to do? To keep you alive, because it's built into the nerves. And then externally, you rely on 3 things. Okay, shelter, clothing, and food. So every day from the time you become independent from your parents, you wake up from 6 a.m. to 12 midnight, is for you to go out and find those 3 things that will keep you alive. Alive long enough just so you die one day. So my purpose is just to wait and die. In between, we do all those things because, you see, we are the only products that were made without an expiration date. It's depressing when you don't know when you're going to go, but you know you're going to go anyway. Even a sardine know when you should throw them away.
Of course. Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. They have a purpose to feed us. And so they say, look, when you pass this date, no, you're not good to feed these people. But we come with no expiration date. So we are all waiting in this vacuum, knowing for sure, as a human being, you're going to go. Number 2, in what fashion? You don't know. So you become a vegetarian so you can prolong your life, vegan to prolong your life. No, let me eat more meat because I'm going to die anyway. So in between we play golf if you're rich, or you go to the strip club if you are poor, just to waste the time. So all these hobbies and going to places and doing this is just to...
Just to buy time.
To buy time as you wait to go.
I don't know. I guess for me, when I hear the word purpose, because you mentioned you truly believe that you don't have no purpose, but you decided that you don't have a purpose. You decided you have no purpose. I
have decided that until somebody show it to me.
Why does someone have to show it to you? Why can that be something you discover on your own? Your own
show
purpose.
Me the place people are discovering it. I will go there. The public library, the movie theater. Is it on Netflix?
Agreed.
Okay, I believe if you show me where you found yours, I'm going to go there. Why not? So don't say you have to discover it on your own. No, that is a very bad thing to tell a child if they ask you that question. Go discover it on your own. But Mama, where did you discover it? Why don't you share that with me?
What if Mama said I discovered it on my own as well, and I want you to discover it on your own?
Yeah, but I'll ask her where, on your own, where, when, what were you doing when you discovered it? Show me, give me some guidance as to where you discovered it on your own. And when you discovered it, how did it look like? You saw it in a dream? During what time? When you had a migraine, or you're hungry, or you went to bed? How did you discover it? I just want people to tell me. So what I said to you was not that I don't believe. I said, until it is shown to me, until I can see it, why should I take it upon myself?
But Zanu, don't you believe everyone has their own unique path, individual right to seek their own purpose, their own reality?
Well, you keep saying seek. Yes. You got to know where to seek it. Where do you seek health?
Seek health, you go to the hospital.
That's correct.
Yes.
And if you want to build yourself and make your muscles strong, where do you go? To the gym.
Absolutely.
Where do you seek food? You go to the supermarket.
Yes.
Where do you seek entertainment? You go to the strip club, the bar, or whatever you want to go to.
Right.
Where should I go? This is quite very depressing, asking me to seek for something. You're not telling me where it is.
But the seeking doesn't have to be depressing, though. Why does it have to be depressing, is what you say?
Because there is no place you're telling me I should go and seek it. If I said I want to seek knowledge, you say go to school more, study more, or go and be with some Buddhists and Indians. Like Buddha said, I went out of my palace to seek knowledge. You see, he knew where to go. Leave the palace and mix with ordinary people. That is a place to go and seek it. I have traveled quite wide, lived in many different places. I have been in Buddhist temples, spent time with Buddhists, 5 weeks long. I have been with voodooists. I was born a voodoo child. I know all about African traditional beliefs. I have been a Christian because I went to missionary schools. I have read the Bible. Where should I seek it?
So yes, all those amazing places that you traveled and met these people, wouldn't you say those people have found their purpose?
Nobody told me they found it. We've had this conversation. This is where first my conversation started, when I was living in Tokyo, and I decided to go and take a complete, absolute rest. And they said, well, I'll go to a Buddhist temple. So I went to Fukuoka and stayed with this Buddhist whose brother happened to be the mayor of my town. And boy, Buddhists just live a very attached and detached at the same time. That's it. Everything else is just what it is. They didn't tell me they have a purpose. They asked me. When you ask a question, they will ask you, have you found yours? Please share with us. So no, I didn't find anyone tell me where they found it. I've lived on this earth more than 50 years. Now, let me tell you something. Some Christians and other people will be watching this episode going, oh yeah, because you don't believe. Yeah, if you believe in God, he'll tell you, okay, fine. Well, those are all just, emotional things about beliefs. Yeah. I have questions to the answers. Questions to the answers I've been given, that I'm here for a purpose. And I believe just like you when I was young. Oh, yay, I'm here for a purpose, So everything I do, I'm trying to find a purpose in it, and it's depressing. And until the day I said, no, why can't I do the right thing on earth? Just go on doing what is right, as my environment has informed me, my traditions has informed me. So what is right is not the same in all cultures. And do it if you feel that it's right to do. Do the right thing there. Why should I say it got to have a purpose?
Because you want to feel good. You want to feel something.
That's correct. That's correct. Humans think that if they don't say they are here for a purpose, and that the things they are doing, and I keep warning you, I've told you, we started by saying people have purpose, and then the English had a purpose. They went out colonizing, and we didn't like it. Well, you're disrespecting God. They came with the Bible. They told you it was their purpose. Why can't you accept it? Then they started buying slaves and they said, yes, it was a purpose. You didn't like it either. But you keep saying people should have a purpose. You're going to be a victim of one of those because you see, as soon as people believe they have a purpose, they want to make their purpose more noble than yours. And this is where the problem begins. Why can't you just say, I was dropped here, I don't know? How about women who get pregnant, have a child, and then in the dark of the night, they drop it in front of the Catholic Church and walk away? Is that their purpose?
One would say, but I guess not.
You guess not.
Because that's not fair. That's not fair to say that.
How is not fair? So which purpose do you know? So it will help me a lot. Which purpose do you know since you were born that you thought, yeah, that was fair? Which one?
Which purpose?
Yeah. Somebody's
Obviously,
purpose, you know.
Obviously, the first purpose.
Which is?
Where I grew up in church is the pastor's purpose. The purpose to teach us the teachings of God so that we can learn.
You can learn that in school.
Yeah.
They teach theology in school. He doesn't have to be jumping up and down, sweating every Sunday, and then he needs my money.
How about my professor at school teaching me these amazing curriculums? Wouldn't you say that's their purpose, to educate me?
He's doing the thing that will allow him to have the three things that will keep him alive: shelter, food, and clothing. If God gave me a purpose to be here, He'll be paying my rent. I go to the landlord, he says, oh, no, I got the check already. From who? I don't know, but he came. Because God wants me to be free to do my purpose. He never frees you. You have no one day, man. The landlord is waiting. The grocery store is waiting. The doctor is waiting. The bills company is waiting. And you want to. And then your children come in. And then you get a second job because I want my family to be good. Oh, my car is getting old. Finance another one. The mortgage is on you. When do you do your purpose? And is it for the rest of your life? You don't retire from it? So if there's purpose, and God created it for a purpose, why kids die? Oh, they completed it in a year, 2. Why are people born still? Why are people born blind? Unless we want to accept all those, that anything anybody does, it's their purpose, then I will accept everything.
I'm going to be honest, Zanu, I don't believe that the whole purpose thing is based on one person or 2 people or 3 people. I think everyone has their own notion and perspective of where they want their life to go. And if a child comes home and says, Mother, I'm hungry, would you say the purpose for the mother is to feed their child?
No, responsibility.
Responsibility. Okay.
Yes, you brought a child to this world. You're responsible. In fact, you take your dog to the park. Is it because God put you here to be taking dogs to the park?
No, you chose that.
No.
Yeah.
I've seen many people who give more attention to their pets, dogs, grooming them, putting gold ring on their fingers, giving them some stupid nicknames and screaming at the park. I say sit, I say sit. Like they're talking to human beings. It's all funny. It's a time-killing thing. It makes you feel like you have somebody who will obey you, that authority figure. We all pursue it. So purpose was created because we want to have authority on something, because we couldn't do anything and do it well without this problem. You'd think that if God put us here for a purpose, okay, let's take the first 2 brothers, according to the biblical story. I'm just quoting it, okay? Cain and Abel. There was no school, there was no radio station, television station, there was no social media, influencer, nothing. If anything were to happen, they were the 2 people to create it, right? Because nobody came before them.
That's right.
Was it Cain's purpose to kill Abel? How did he get the voice? How did he know what is death? How did he know that you could kill when nobody has come before them?
Some will say he was tempted by the devil, and the devil's purpose was to infiltrate him.
Well, I don't want to go into that.
Okay.
Yeah, the devil must be used for somebody to fulfill his purpose. And I'm sure if you believe you have a purpose, I'm sure the devil must be used for you to fulfill your purpose then.
Okay.
Yes. But if you are picked for your purpose, was his purpose to kill Abel? You say, I don't know. I would say, I don't know. You see, where did he get that idea? How did he know somebody can die? Who taught him? Nobody has ever died before him. So how did he know death?
Fair point.
That's why I said the Christian interpretation that God warned Adam and Eve, if you eat the fruit, you die. Well, nobody has ever died. They have never seen it. How would they be scared of something they have never seen before? That makes that warning stupid.
My God.
If I tell you right now, if you look away from me, you will cracker. What would you say?
If I look away from you, I'll cracker.
Yes.
I'll say that's foolish.
No, what do you know cracker?
I crack I'll crack in pieces.
No,
like
I don't know, but I just said the word.
Oh, okay, no.
What would you say?
That makes no sense.
No, because you don't know what cracker. How would you say it doesn't make sense? You say, what is cracker?
Okay.
Adam and Eve should have asked God, what is, we will die. They've never seen anybody die. The concept of death was not there. How can you threaten people with something they don't know?
Now you're onto something there with that. How do you threaten someone with something they do not know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you can see that interpretation has a problem already,
So
right
you
there.
create the problem for them, make them believe the problem exists.
Well, how would they know? It's like asking someone to imagine something they don't know. It's impossible. No smart person on earth can imagine something they don't know. How can you threaten people with something they don't know? The word doesn't exist. The action has never happened before them because they're the first human being. Mm-hmm. They have never seen death. Do you know why we are scared of death? Because we've seen it. Your grandma won't wake up again, and you just don't like that condition. That's why we are scared of it. Yeah. But they have never seen it. How can they be scared of something they have never seen? It's impossible to threaten someone with that kind of thing. No wonder they ate the fruit because they want to know what death means. To them, it could be a very fancy thing. The same thing we have done with you're here for the purpose. And people are getting depressed because everything they do, they want to feel fulfillment. You see, Silicon Valley, right? It's these multi-million-dollar program creators, IT workers. They're now asking that they should take something like, I don't know, microdosing, they call it?
Microdosing.
So that, exactly.
Some type of psychedelic.
Exactly. So they all have to find a way to go to Tanzania and climb a mountain and then give some $2,000 to a village just to feel good. Look at Bill Gates.
That's true.
He didn't just accept that God created me to be a millionaire and that's fine. No, now he has to find places and if there's no problem, he will create one. People so much want to have a purpose, they will throw their own pet out of the window, rush to save it, just to feel I have a purpose on earth. And why is it that you never see a bunch of poor people ever going to a very, very rich place and say, this is what God created us to come to these rich people and do something? You see a bunch of people from Bridgeport ever going to Greenwich to say, that's my purpose on earth. No. Why is it always some rich man always finding some place and say, that's when I knew.
This was my purpose.
Yes. Yeah. That alone should tell you, no.
So heroes, everyone that wants to rescue someone, that's all based on an emotion they want to feel deep down inside. They don't really want to rescue the person. Really
it's a knee-jerk reaction when you, oh my God, I can do it. And then you do it. If you fall into a river, I watch you die. I can't swim. And if I jump, not because I premeditated, I'm going to be a hero, let me save him. Maybe I just did it, and I will die along with you anyway. Unless I landed on a rock, then they pull me and say, he's a hero. No, I wasn't.
With that being said, I was going to give you an example with the police department and the firefighters, those who go out their way to save those outside their lives. I think you would say their purpose is to pay the bills. This is a job, but what about those volunteer firefighters? When you say that's their purpose, I just simply
it's just like golf players, just something to waste.
You think it's the same thing, a firefighter and a golf player?
Do you know the young kids who take the motorbike and flip 3 times in the air? Do you know they're thinking about breaking their neck, their arm, their leg? It's a rush. It's a rush. You think people just join the army? Let me tell you something. Warriors are not made. They are born. They are just nurtured later on. That's why you take 200 people into the SEAL, and the Pee-wee all run away. You have only 98 of them left. Right. They've got it in their vein already, okay? And you nurture it.
It's innate.
Yes.
Not true.
It's not something just anybody just pick up. Yes. So those things we call heroes and all that, no. Yeah. You know, see a gunshot go off and then everybody run and one guy said, what is that? What is that? It's not because he's brave. We don't know what is going on up there in his head. But we got to be careful. If I have children, I'm going to tell them, you are here for a purpose. And I am the one who brought you here. But God has to show me and give me a manual on how I'm going to organize my child's life so that he or she can fulfill. Did your parents do that with you?
Of course not. They told me my own path is to fail on my own. They did the best for me to learn on my own. They say, follow this path, go to school, go to church, follow this way, and this is your life.
That's it.
I was taught my purpose, to be quite honest. I was told that this was my purpose.
And who told you?
My parents, my church, my family.
What is the thing that they said is your purpose?
Purpose to serve my family, serve God.
Serve your family and serve God. I
serve-
think we all do it. I mean,
Yeah, naturally.
thieves and mafias all go to church.
Oh, God. Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, yeah, you can tell that to your children because it sounds better, right? But how about you? You just a supervisor or what? Have you found your own purpose, you know? Why are you telling me? But you didn't tell me yours. And then you're saying to me, but I'm preparing you for your purpose. Because if they didn't add that purpose, you may not go to the church. So they have to add it. Hey, Cedrick.
Yes, Zanu.
You're a great sport, man.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the session with you.
I love it. Thank you,
right?
Zanu.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe because this is what is going to keep Zanu Project Rethink always, okay? We have this discussion not because somebody wants to be right or wrong, but we are just teaching the young ones who are coming, you know, the Gen Zs, how to begin to reduce violence if you learn how to question the answers we've been giving. And that's all we do at Project Rethink. Thank you. And we'll see you next episode.
Thank you, Zanu.
Na shida zangu zote zikaja.